Chris hit Huda with his pillow. Chris almost tackled Huda when they were notified it's time for their date. Chris told Huda to shut up. This man does not like Huda. We are going to be talking about the explosive season that is Love Island. Take me as I am. I just came back from the gym. Okay, whatever time I have to talk to y'all is what you have in front of me. Is where y'all gonna get. Okay, this is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. If you know, you know. Now, I have so much to say about Love Island. The 2-hour finale was a bonanza. Let's start off with Chris and Huda. I want all of the Huda fans, all of the Huda stans to come to the front. It's time for a chat. I'm going to have an honest conversation with the Huda people right now. Now, we're going to be going to each and every couple. If you don't know me, I'm MJ, and I do TV show movie reviews here on my podcast, the I'm About It visual podcast. So, I need you guys to let me, force me to understand as to why Huda deserves love right now. I don't understand. And also a quick note, I fixed my volume, so even when I'm screaming, it doesn't sound like nails going down a chalkboard. You're welcome. I know. I'm doing better at this, guys. Huda needs deep therapy. Now, I have 100 clips that I can show you that prove that thesis, that proves that point. 100 clips from this 6-week season. And honestly, isn't it Love Island used to be around 60 episodes? I think it was much shorter because of the drama and the fact that people weren't actually following in love. I think the narrator of Love Island, the newest bombshell has walked into the villa. What is it called? The newest bombshell has just entered the villa. The narrator of Love Island does little jokes. He said it in an interview that a lot of the new generation loves to do situationships. It's a lot of situationships going around. That's kind of what had happened. Even though at the end, a lot of couples didn't even, they went beyond close off. They're becoming exclusive. If you don't know what close off, exclusive versus boyfriend and girlfriend, I'll tell you. And then we'll go into Chris and Huda, okay? Close off means no other islander in the villa can pull you for a chat, can go on a date with you, whatever. You guys are only together exclusively in the villa. Exclusive means only you guys want to continue the connection and focus on each other and only each other outside the villa. And then we all know boyfriend and girlfriend is, right? So those are three differences. And you can kind of tell that, like, if they wanted to be closed off, right, they would tell you, okay, I want to be closed off. That means that no other person can pull you for a chat. If you want to be exclusive, that means that they want to really continue this connection outside of the villa. Not really boyfriend and girlfriend yet, even though it could somewhat be interchangeable. Like, I do think Ace and Shelly are boyfriend and girlfriend. I do think Maya, Papaya, and Brian are boyfriend and girlfriend. I do think Clark and Taylor are boyfriend and girlfriend. I do think Pepe, Pepito, and Iris are boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's start off with Huda. Take off my glasses here. Let's just go through. So we're gonna break this down. So we're gonna break down the date, and I really want people to understand. Like, a lot of what I'm seeing, some of the videos are coming to like the usual conclusion, which is, oh my God, Huda pushed Chris to a point where he couldn't do it anymore. And I don't know why the producers didn't allow the parents to watch all of the episodes up until that point of when they're meeting, because I really wish Brian's parents could have given him some advice on how to really navigate with Huda. And that's why Chris was yearning for some type of advice, either from Brian, from anybody, to help him navigate Huda. Because to me, one of my final conclusions on Huda and Chris is that Chris really did like Huda. He really wanted to work with Huda through her ups and downs, but he just wanted Huda to meet him halfway. So let's start off with this last episode, yeah? 2-hour episode. So we have Chris and Huda. Before we enter this 2 hour episode, we have Chris and Huda. Chris let bygones be bygones for a certain point, but there are certain things from Huda's character and her behavior and personality that he doesn't really like, right? Huda doesn't allow him to finish his sentences. Huda talks to him very is quite controlling, telling him, oh, don't tell me you can't throw up in my mouth. And even though like Chris was trying to be jokey, Huda can be quite demeaning and bossy, right? And then Huda's side of things, Huda is a very confusing, traumatized, troubled young woman. And a lot of people are saying that Huda treats her romantic partners as kids. Yes, I do agree that's also the case. And I think a lot of people as well are also saying because of the work that she's done on her body on the exterior, that hasn't really matched her interior. That's why she has become so insecure. She really feels, quote unquote, as that person, maybe that person that didn't get that much attention growing up, maybe. And then now that she's like this beautiful person, well, she was beautiful before, but now she's like she's changed, different person with like a baddie, baddie body, baddie nose, whatever it is. She constantly yearns for validation. So it's weird because Huda's telling Amaya that Chris does not give her a lot of validation. In this finale, right? Huda tells Amaya, oh, he doesn't pull me, he doesn't touch me. While in the previous episode, Huda is telling Amaya, my love language is words of affirmation and acts of service, not PDA. So Huda is very confusing. I don't understand where she's coming from, like 99% of the time. And then on Huda's defense, like because Chris bottles up a lot of what Huda does to him, and he doesn't have the outlet to really express what's going on with Huda, nor does he have somebody to riff-raff or talk things out in regards to Huda and their relationship. Chris kind of lashes out to Huda. Chris told Huda, shut up twice. Jokingly, and then the other time, jokingly when they were drinking their wine, and then serious manner when Huda was trying to control him on making sure that their fake baby was wearing a t-shirt, making sure he was putting on the t-shirt correctly on the fake baby, and like Huda was doing too much. So Huda, and that's the thing, and a lot of people are saying as well, there's been rumors that a lot of the islanders could not leave the villa. They had to actually stick it through or either be voted off the island. We don't know if that's true or not, and we will wait until the reunion, which is in, oh my God, 6 weeks, which is a horrible decision, which we'll talk about at the end. A lot of another reason why, and so that is the dynamic so far between Huda and Chris. What I hate about when Huda goes out and talks to Amaya about the issues that she has with Chris, she doesn't tell the full side of the story. She only tells what Chris is doing to her. She never says what she's doing to him, which is the weirdest thing, right? When I have a fight with my sibling, if I have something like really, contentious going on in my life or like a serious issue, I tell my friends all sides of the story because I want my friends to give me the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God, right? So Huda, because she wants either, I think both of these things, because she wants everybody to like her, and because she doesn't want people to know about the true issues that's going on with her and Chris, she tells these one-sided issues that is going on between her and Chris, right? And also I think she thinks that maybe sometimes that she is not being videotaped by America, like she's not being recorded. So like maybe when she's having these conversations with Amaya, she only wants to share like the minor issues, not the greater issues, because you know maybe production won't pick it up, which is actually also so crazy as well. And Huda also wants the either the Islanders to know that her and Chris's relationship is like this. They're good. They're Gucci, especially when the show is coming to an end. So that's what we have with Huda and Chris. Like that's what I don't like about Huda. Like there's a lot of things I don't like about Huda. That's one of the main things. For Chris is the fact that Chris has not been really honest about his feelings with Huda because he's so scared of how Huda's gonna take it. But also he's at the same time trying to make sure that he comes across in a good way on camera. And I'm gonna explain it. We're gonna go through a lot of the scenes that we saw in the 2-hour episode between Huda and Chris, and we're gonna explain it, yeah? So we see Huda and Chris. Huda and Chris has, they have a pillow fight. They're throwing the pillow. They put in the pillow fight. I think at this point, Chris resents Huda. Chris really, really resents Huda. So they're having the pillow fight. Chris hits Huda in the face, like straight in the center of the face. And Huda is just like doing like the normal pillow fight. I think like the way Chris threw the pillow was, but then again, it is a pillow fight. So whatever happens in a pillow fight. But with the person that you really like, you don't want to do too much in a pillow fight. You know what I mean? Like I don't see Nikki Poo and Alejandra having such a aggressive pillow fight. You know what I mean? So Chris hits Huda in the face with the pillow. Huda like seems like she has a nose. Her nose is hurting, so she leaves the bedroom, goes to put on a bandage, come back, and Chris is rolling his eyes and basically, kind of signaling, "Oh my God, Huda, you're doing too much. It wasn't that serious. We're having a fight, yada yada yada." Right? In a normal situation, the person that you really like, you would console them, be like, "Oh my God, are you okay? I'm so sorry." It was only when Huda tried to come into the bed, Chris was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know it was gonna end up like being like that." To me, at this point, I do think Chris resents Huda. Now, the next scene, and then we see Huda in the middle of the night when we know these Islanders have to wake up in the crack of dawn to get 15 hours of film, right, for Peacock. They don't get much sleep. They can't take naps. They can't do all these things, right? Huda is tapping Chris. Could you cuddle me? Could you cuddle me? And for me, like, I need you. I get it. Like, I've been single for a very long time at this point. But I don't understand in the middle of the night, why must you need the person that you're laying with? And this is not like your husband. This is not like your long-term boyfriend. A guy that you literally just met a week ago. I met a guy a week ago. You know what I mean? Why do you need him to cuddle you? And why do you need him to cuddle you after when he expressed his concerns about his decision to like their concerns, his concerns about their physical affection with one another, right? Chris wants to kiss you in public. You said no. Chris basically drawed a line, and even though he didn't say it, I don't want to have bound chicken wow with you in bed if you can't kiss me in public because that's weird and messes with my brain. Makes me feel inferior. Makes me feel like you're embarrassed of me, right? Why in the world would this man turn around and cuddle with you? Now, you could still cuddle, even, you know what I mean, but maybe not do bound chicken mama, right? But why does Huda need him to cuddle you? Why does Huda need a man to cuddle her? I do not understand. So, not like, it would have been fine if she goes, "Oh, could you cuddle me? No. She went further. She goes, "I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2. as like she was talking to Chris at like a preschool teacher, like a gym coach, like his mom. Make it so Insane. And of course, Chris is still awake but trying to fall asleep because they have limited hours of sleep because the lights were just shut off. Like, here's the thing. Like, I don't know how Huda thinks. Like, does she do these things and then act like the guy's gonna love me the next morning? I just don't understand. So obviously Chris, didn't turn around but told her from the other side, in the same position, I'm not gonna cuddle you. I really want to sleep tonight. I don't mess with my sleep. Like, duh. We have like 6 hours of sleep, but could we sleep, please? Like, I don't need distractions tonight. And she was so hurt by that. Like, get a pillow. If you need a cuddle buddy, grab another pillow. Like, I don't understand. Girls, put it down in the comments because I don't understand. So it's the next morning. Of course, Huda's upset for some crazy reason. She's upset. And then Chris has a conversation with Brian. Brian's like, bro, Chris tells Brian, hey, like, give me the real honest advice right now. I need real honest advice. I don't know how to deal with Huda. Like, the Huda issues is a lot. And Brian is in bliss. Like, Brian is so happy. Brian is in bliss with Amaya Papaya. He's like, just work it out. It's all be good. It's all good. It's all deuces. You'll be fine. La 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 la. Like, no one's actually listening or looking at the Huda and Chris situation as we are as audiences. So if I was Brian, I would have told Chris, this is what you're going to need to do. You're going to sit down with her on your date, or I would say even before your date, so you can enjoy your guys' date. Sit down with Huda and discuss with her all of your issues and be honest. Like, even if she walks away, go follow her and continue to talk. Even if she's interrupting you, let her finish talking and then continue what you're going to say. I need you to lay out all of the issues that you have with her so clearly and tell her how all of the actions that she has done to you has really negatively impacted you. And tell her how you feel when these actions are done to you, right? And then tell her that you don't want to be with her, man. Like, you really don't want to be with her, my bro. Bro, you don't want to be with her. It seems like you call these red flags. Like, you don't want to be with her. Like, that is fine. If these are red flags that you guys can work out, you can get behind, then you don't want to be with her, and that's fine. That's what I would have told Chris. Have a conversation before the date. Because here's what happened. So it's date. Everybody gets their own date. The last 4 couples, everybody gets their own date. So Chris, it's finally Huda and Chris's turn. Huda gets a text that it's their time to go on a date. Chris is so excited. He runs. Like, I was actually scared because we all know, like, Chris doesn't like this girl. Chris runs like a linebacker in football and tackles this woman. Tackles Huda. Huda gets up and be like, oh my God, Chris just hit me on the side of the head. It's giving toxicity. Now, later on in the date, when they're like eating dinner on the most romantic place on the face of the planet, like Huda goes, oh, I think we should work things out because I don't want, there's no animosity. Chris has already started to resent you, Huda. Chris has already started to resent you. So we go on to the date. And then so we're having the date, and like Chris carries Huda, which I was surprised with. Like, I was surprised that Chris carried Huda to the actual table. He carried her, he pulled out her chair, because to me at this point, from an audience point of view, it does seem like Chris doesn't like the girl. Not even as a romantic person, but as a person. So they're chatting. And the thing is, and this is where Chris goes wrong, but I'm going to explain why Chris is moving in the way he is. And I'm going to explain how Huda, and I already explained to you how Huda moves, right? So Chris is eating. He's having a good time. They're opening the champagne. They're eating the food. Huda is also doing the same thing. Huda brings it up. Chris should have brought it up because we all know that Chris doesn't like the girl. That's quite evident. That's quite clear. It's not really quite clear if Huda likes him, even though why would you tell a person that you like that you don't want to kiss them in public, well, even though you want to have sex with them at night? To me, at that point, that's how I knew that she doesn't like him. But anyways, we move on. So Huda brings up and be like, hey, we have some issues that we need to work through, because if we don't work through, we're going to, garner and create some animosity against one another. And Chris goes, yeah, shoot, like you know, say what you gotta say. Huda goes, no, you go first. So Chris starts talking, and Chris goes, listen, you can't talk to me in the way that you talk to me. My mom can't talk to me like that. And Huda doesn't listen to the words that come out of his mouth. Because to her, whatever actions she does when she's hurt is valid because she's hurt. She doesn't care how she's acted because she is hurt, and whatever action she takes is valid, which is wrong, obviously, right? If you are hurt, then you communicate that hurt and you tell the person who have hurt you that you've been hurt by them, so they know, so they don't end up doing it again, right? Instead of Huda listening to Chris, you'd be like, you can't talk to me like that. You can't, She goes, but I'm hurt. But you did this to me and I'm hurt. But Chris is like, I understand that, but you still can't talk to me like that. And then Huda goes like this, acting as if she's not interested, right? And that's why Chris goes, I'm done. And here's the thing. A lot of people not a lot of people, I see some people still don't understand why Chris did what he did. And I'm going to explain to you why he did what he did. Chris is done. And it's quite clear that he has been done. Oh, also, side note, please ignore my nails. I'm getting my nails done there this week. I'm traveling. I'm going to get my nails done. Don't worry about me. Chris knows that he is done with this girl, right? But he knows that he is on camera, so he can't act a fool. He also wants to make it look like he's taking a step back. How Love Island ends up doing whatever they do in regards to his edit, they're gonna do whatever. But at least he doesn't end up. It's not like any negative edit that ends up coming from him is not from his own actions, but how he ended the date. See, if he left Huda and never came back, that would have been fine. But the fact that he came back, we'll get to that. But anyways, so Chris is at this point goes, he's done. He's not going to call it because he's on camera. He doesn't want to break up with her because he knows how that's going to look. He wants her to do it because it's quite clear that she doesn't want to change. She doesn't want to change her actions, her behavior, and the way she talks to him. So Chris is like, if you're not going to change, there's only one option, right? If you're not going to listen to me, hear me out, there's only one option, and you're leaning towards that, aren't you? Just say it. Just say it. Just say it. Right? And that's what Chris is trying to say. And yes, Chris should have broken up with Huda, but I think because it's on camera, he's not going to do that. Again, in the real world, if Huda acted this way towards him, he would have sent deuces. Bye, girl, a long time ago. He would have blocked her. It would have been gone, right? It's quite clear he is that type of guy, right? He's not the type of guy to like constantly work it out, but because he's on camera, he's in Love Island, he has to do that. So he then allows her to break up with her. How Love Island, and they are messy boots. They are so messy. I laughed so hard. The random woman from the woods. I'm like, what in the world? What is that woman? I'm like, what in the world? Where did that woman come from? This beautiful black woman singing Moon River. Ding, ding, the most like one of the most romantic songs on the face of the planet, playing in the black background, one of the most beautiful atmospheres. They're eating in the middle of water. The lights, the music while they're breaking up with each other. It's so crazy. And who the fans? That's your fault. That's your fault. That's your fault. That's your fault. You know that? Like in Nigerian culture, we go, that's what you get. This is what you get. Yeah, crying. That's what you get. That's what you get, girls. That's what you get. Okay, that's what you get. And it was the most funny scene ever. It was a cinematic masterpiece. And I enjoyed that so much. That's what y'all get. Instead of voting this girl off a long time ago, you get, oh, and we're going to get to, oh my gosh, she's just an authentic girl. Like, every girl goes to, no, not every girl goes to the girls. No. We're going to get to that. So the date is over. Chris is like, I can't do this. So he ends up leaving. Huda ends up getting off the table, but the thing is, Chris comes back, and I don't know why Chris comes back. Because here's the thing, and this was confirmed to me by the end when they were reading like these emotional cards to each other, telling them how they feel. Chris actually really likes Huda, and this is the reason why he let it last, and that's why he's been so patient. He really admires the girl. He really likes her, so he was waiting for her to change. Because he thought, if I tell you to stop, if I tell you I don't like that, can you please stop doing that? And because she wouldn't stop, it just kept continuing, but in different ways. Those are red flags, right? So when he comes back, when he was allowing her to give her a chance to be like, okay, do you want to break up? Like, what do you want to do? He wanted her to break up with her, but he wanted her to do it. But he also, I think he wanted her to be like, I still want us to work things out, because I think he really liked her. So when he came back to pick her up from the table, when he was asking her, why are you crying? Because he really liked her. I think he would have wanted to still continue their relationship, even though he kind of doesn't like her. They wanted to work things out. He's like, why are you crying? You made the decision. Like, you broke up with me. Like, I think he was trying to say, you broke up with me. If anybody's supposed to be crying, I'm supposed to be crying. I'm supposed to be upset. And that's why I'm not going to carry you right now. I'm not going to carry you out of this table. I'm not going to carry you out of this table because you just broke up with me. Why in the world would I carry you into my arms? You just broke up with me. I can guide you out of the water, but I'm not going to carry you into my arms like my wifey, like I did in the beginning when we were kind of still together. That's where Chris is coming from. But Chris should not have asked her, like, why are you still crying? Like, but I think, because again, I think Chris thinks like Huda doesn't like him because of how she moves. But Huda is just like a weirdo, and she just moves in weird ways. She still liked him, but I don't think he knew that that's just how Huda is. So when Huda broke up with him, he was genuinely hurt by that. But he knew that it would have ended some way or another, because there were red flags that he was flagging that he didn't like, that also made him resent her. It's complicated. I know where Chris is coming from. Hopefully that makes sense. And because look at the beautiful, lovely, honestly, one of the most beautiful things. Remember at the end, like, everybody's reading each other's, like, emotional, devotional cards. I don't know what they were called, but, like, they were reading each other's feelings for one another. Chris's one for Huda was one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. Like, oh, I love your dimples. I love your almond-shaped eyes, I think it was. Like, I love how you are as a mother. Like, all of these beautiful things. Chris really did like that girl. I thought it was better than Nico's note. I thought it was better than Brian's note. Like, I honestly think Chris's note was actually gorgeous. So that's how I knew in that moment in time that he really liked her. It was confirmed to me. But he just wanted her to change. Like, he finds her beautiful, gorgeous. He finds her strong the way he carries herself. He finds her funny and goofy, but there are just some red flags I think he couldn't take as a partner. And like he said, like, he wouldn't even allow his mom to speak to him like that. Why would I allow my girlfriend to speak to me like that, right? And that's Huda and Chris. I still see them somehow getting back together, trying things out right now, or after maybe Huda takes a break and gets some therapy. I do think, as we conclude on Huda and Chris, because we have 3 other couples to talk about, I do think anybody who I'm going to say the silent part out loud, anybody who relates to Huda and her toxic ways, you need help. You need help. Okay? The only thing I want to say I would hear from Huda is that Huda has definitely made this show 10 times entertaining. Absolutely, she has. I give her props for that. Huda she has a beautiful body, absolutely. But the way y'all talk about her body is creepy and weird. But sure. I would also say that Huda. The only comments I would tolerate is I feel sad for Huda. I feel for Huda. That's the only thing. All these comments, Huda is so authentic, which honestly I give. Like, she's so authentically herself. Even her sisters were like, so you're showing your toxic ways for millions of people to see. And Huda starts laughing. It's like, yeah, that's not great. I'm so happy you just be quiet. You were quiet for some of the conversations with Chris. I just loved it. I just loved it. You guys need help if you relate to any of those toxic things. You need therapy. It's not good. It's not normal. Okay? And yes, Chris should have, broke up with her and did all these things, but listen, he's a black man in front of the most, popular TV show in 2025. He ain't gonna do that. He ain't gonna do that. And I actually wasn't expecting for her to crash out, because she knew that this wasn't gonna work out in the way. And the thing is, it's weird too. She doesn't really look at her behavior as wrong. Like, she thinks what she did in the relationship was great. And when she goes back and talks to Amaya, even after that beautiful date, she tells them, listen, I wanted him to do certain things and he wasn't doing it. I'm like, girl, how about you tell them the things that you did to him? Like, she doesn't look at her own actions, which is so... Anyways, it's crazy. That's Huda and Chris for y'all. We're gonna move on, y'all. We're gonna move on. Let's talk about Iris and Pepe. They're one of the couple that I do think they're gonna continue on outside of the villa. But Iris does seem clingy. Yes, girls. She seems clingy. And she literally said she needs to sleep. Like, she lives with roommates and she can't live alone. Like, she needs to have somebody in the house living with her. How old are you? Like, what do you mean you need somebody? But I keep forgetting that these people are like early 20s. So like, then I'm like, okay. But if you're like my age, like 32, you can't live alone. It's weird. If you need somebody to be with you all the time, it's weird. It's weird. No? I think Iris is a bit clingy. Like, every single time I see Pepe, Iris is literally attached at the hip. But I'm like, it's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I get it. Like, you're a couple. But I do think it's not going to work out because I think, like, Iris is going to be a lot. I don't know. I wonder what Iris does for a living. I know Pepito is, like, a former basketball player, but he owns, like, a gym and he does all these things. But what does Iris do? What does she do with her time? They're cute. I still don't see the difference between his connection with Hannah and his connection with Iris. What he's been telling Iris is what he also told Hannah. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing... It's cute. It's cute. I'm not seeing why Iris is different. I get Iris lives in the same city. And Iris lives next to Pepito's grandfather. I don't know. That's great. But, like, how is Iris different than Hannah? Because they're both beautiful, blonde, gorgeous, smart girlies. I guess Hannah gave him a childlike feeling. And what did Iris give? She's a bad bitch. Isn't that what Pepito said? I don't know. Anyways, I don't know if it's going to work. I just feel like they're a bit clingy. And I think that's, like... Iris already said in the beginning, like, she can't do certain things alone. So, that's Iris and Pepito. Let's talk about Nicolandria. In the beginning of the Nicolandria trope, I did not think that Nikki Pooh and Olandria will be together, because I don't think that Olandria has dated guys like Nikki Pooh, and I feel like Nick looks at Olandria as like a fetish, but after knowing Nick on socials, And after knowing Nick in the villa for all these weeks, he seems like a pretty, genuine guy. I do think he finds Elandria attractive. So as time went on, I'm like, okay, this connection is growing. I think they really do like each other. I think it's maybe beyond lust. They do have a strong foundation, friendship. But what I'm trying to say, the last episode, the finale, made me go, I think they have a lust, but I don't see anything stronger there. Again, we're going to talk about a lot of things that production left behind and things like that. So there are a lot of things that we didn't see. But I am going to say this. I didn't like Nikki Poo's emotional, what is that segment called at the end where they read each other's like emotions at the end to each other, like how they feel about one another. He's like, oh, wherever this goes, either it's friendship, boyfriend. Like when Nick was saying friendship, boyfriend, or situationship, Alandria's face was like literally bewildered. Like her face was like literally confused. She went like she was confused. If you like somebody, then you say, oh my God, I'm so interested in growing this outside of the villa. I want this romantic connection that we have started to flower to blossom into a very strong thing, and I can't wait to get to know you in this intimate way. Instead of saying, oh, whatever this is, romantic best friend. Like it just seemed to me Nick doesn't like Alandria. I think Nick likes Alandria as a person. Obviously, loves her as a person. I think Nick likes Alandria as a woman. I think it's lust. I don't think he really likes her like that. I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see. I know Nick's family will probably love her for him. I love Nick's mom. Nick's mom is like, honey, do you know we're calling you Nicolandria outside the villa? And Nick goes, really? It's like, yeah, we're rooting for you too. Listen, knowing Nick's mom, I love that woman. Knowing Nick's mom will love Alandria for Nick. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I think at this moment in time, at the end of the finale, that kiss between Alandria and Nick was gorgeous. Oh my God, so romantic. I cried. I do think at this point, I think Alandria likes Nick more than Nick likes Alandria at this point. I don't know. If it's weird. Again, his like little speech that they did for one another, showing, talking about how they care for one another in each couple, displaying their feelings and their thoughts and where they want to go. It does seem like Nick doesn't really want this to grow outside the villa. And I don't think Nick is going to do... I don't think Nick is gonna circle back around with Sierra, because Sierra unfollowed Nick on social media. Yeah. So I think they're gonna be strong friends. I don't see it actually continuing. For me, I don't know, but I love them together, and I love them. I love them beyond individually. I love Nick and Ace's friendship, and Nick and Taylor's, and then we have Ace, Amaya, Papaya. Maya and Brian. I love me a little bit of Maya. Because they live so close together in New York, because they come from the same socioeconomical backgrounds, and because they come from the same culture, I really do think that they will definitely put everything that they got into the relationship. I think Amaya probably reminds Brian as his mom. Yeah, I think Amaya reminds Brian as his mom. Yeah, reminds... I don't know why I can't talk today. So Amaya, probably reminds Brian as his mom. Anyways, I'm gonna stop saying it. You know what I mean. Amaya, like Brian says, like he has had such an amazing time with Amaya, and even with conversations with Chris, like you can tell like Brian's in La La Land, like he's happy, Brian's happy, and Amaya's happy with Brian. They finally met their match. I don't know if I do think it's somewhat strong, and because they live so close together, and their families love one another and love each other and love yeah, love each other. I do think it would work in the beginning, but time will tell. You know, we have 6 weeks until the reunion, so we'll see. I love Amaya and Brian's dates. And people are saying O'Brien's took too long to pick Amaya. Yes, but I think Amaya was preoccupied and so was Brian at the time. Yes, I think as time went on in the villa, Brian started to interact with Amaya more. And he started to realize how much he really likes Amaya and realize how much they have so much in common. And, you know, the way Amaya, her personality and her mannerisms are kind of like from the Hispanic culture. And honestly, it's kind of normal for. But I think where Ace is coming from, Ace is not really talking about. I think the word babe represents something. I think Ace is talking about how quickly Amaya was so quick to latch on to Ace. Especially Ace is literally the opposite of Amaya in terms of growing a connection or romantic connection with somebody. Ace will take his damn long time growing his connection. Same thing with Alondria. Growing, they would rather have an emotional connection than a physical one. That's Ace. And Amaya is the opposite. Amaya don't mind if there's a physical or emotion. Like she's just on. She will ride you that first night. Like, that's Amaya. So I think a lot of people think that it was just the word babe, but it meant more than that. I think Ace was trying to say the fact that you are latching on to me so quickly, you love me so quickly, you love me so fast when you don't even know me, that's a red flag. That's weird. And that's why Ace said in the beginning, I just want to take our time with our connection. And it's quite clear and Maya that have a crush on Ace, which is so cute. But I think, you know, Amaya honestly does have a little bit of issue regulating her emotions. However, she didn't cry or, you know, do anything out of the norm with Brian. You know, she didn't cry that much with Brian. It seems like Brian was her rock. And so I don't know, maybe it's just the right person. But it wasn't really the word babe. It's the fact that Amaya was really latches on really quickly with her emotional connection. You know what I mean? And I think that's where Zach Hayes was coming from as well. So I'm so happy that Amaya and Brian won. I'm so happy, and I'm happy that they're splitting the money, 100K, so meaning that they're both getting at 25K, because minus taxes, so 100K, half of the taxes, 50K, divide that by 2, 25K, right? So I'm so happy for them. Everybody's outfits, I loved Huda's dress. I wasn't a huge fan of Iris's hair. I was okay with Iris's dress, but it could have been different. I liked Amaya's dress, but I wanted it to be more form-fitting. I wasn't a big fan of Alandria's dress. You know what I mean? I wish it was a bit more form-fitting. It was a bit too structured. If it was a bit more form-fitting and then maybe like flared out, that would have been better. So maybe have like the same bodice, same corset, and then flare out as like a Cinderella ball gown. That would have been way better. But yeah, Iris and Pepito was giving me Hollywood old Hollywood glam, which I love. And Huda and Chris was giving me dark and sophisticated, classy. And I feel like Alandria and Nick was giving me a bit of color, kind of like maybe a nod to maybe some of the African culture or Black American culture, African American culture. I don't know. So, and then like, you know, Amaya, which is glitz and glam. My papaya. I love that girl. I can't wait for all of them to make TikToks and make content. I need them. I love that Nick is making content for all of us right now, posting on Snapchat, posting on Facebook. I need them to post. I need to know what their thoughts are. Yes, take a break, but I need Clark to post her makeup routine. I need Alana to post her makeup routine. I just need it all. Like, I need Huda's thoughts on all of this. I know they're all doing interviews this week, so I'm like so freaking excited. I'm going to be probably sharing my reviews on that on TikTok. But yes, I'm kind of confused as to why the reunion is in 6 weeks, not in 2 weeks. Because in 6 weeks, I feel like the heat and the momentum of Love Island would have died down, but I feel like it's gonna pick back up. I feel like, because here's the thing: now that everybody's coming back home, everybody's gonna make TikToks, everybody's gonna interact with another. I think a lot of people are gonna have conversations about how they acted in the villa. People get to sit with those conversations, and it also gives time for oh my god, how am I forgetting his name? The guy who does reunions on Bravo. The guy who's doing the reunion with Ariana Maddox. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot his name. But anyways, it gives him time to watch all 35 episodes. If he hasn't watched all 36 episodes, I don't need you to come here and host a reunion. Flat out honest. And maybe that's why it's in 6 weeks, because maybe he himself hasn't really been watching every single episode. So it gives him the chance to watch every single episode, take notes, memorize what he needs to memorize, get familiarized with everybody's, background, their personalities, the drama, the issues online. Because I'm okay with, I'm sorry, I need to Google this. Oh, look at my background hydrangeas. Oh, I put my background for my phone and it's like so pretty. I love it. Oh my god, how can I not know the name? The host at Bravo. I know his name, Andy Cohen. Oh my god. So Andy Cohen, I think it was a really good job for Peacock to hire Andy Cohen for this particular reunion, which is Love Island, because so much has happened and so much has not been aired. For instance, like Huda did sit on Ace's face, and the fact that Shelly only gave smoke to Huda and not Ace, which was insane. But again, it shows to me, if you watch my last recap video, it shows to me that Ace really did like. It shows to me that Shelly really does like Ace, because Shelly's trying to make Ace like happy. So I'm really happy that Andy Cohen is doing this, because he knows how to host reunion. He knows how to host a good reunion. He's not afraid of asking the right questions. He's not afraid, making things awkward. He's not afraid, and he does good, robust work. So I'm not mad with it. I just hope he asks all of our questions. He's prepared. He's equipped. Because I don't know anybody else who would want to go up and do this. I don't know who had enough experience to do this. Now he's doing it with Ariana Maddox. I don't know why they're doing it together, but it's kind of like the Lachey's for Love Is Blind, but the Lachey's are not great at hosting reunions. So I definitely want to see. I think it was a good idea to also bring Ariana, because Ariana brings in kind of like the flirty, and she knows like the ins of each couple. So Ariana and Andy Cohen can probably have night recaps, like night study sessions about the show and the people on there, and she can probably let Andy Cohen know what he needs to ask, how people act and how they are, the inside jokes, what she saw behind the scenes and things like that. So I think Ariana is be good. I think it's good for both of them to do it, because if Andy Cohen can't answer the question, then Ariana can. And since Ariana has been there from the very beginning, he can help guide Andy through a lot of the things that he may not be aware of. So we can have a more balanced and nuanced conversations about some of the tough issues, and also a comprehensive one. So I'm really happy that they're both doing it. I just wish it was bump up a little bit sooner. I wish it was 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks from now, which gives enough people to relax, but also to do the interviews, to interact with people, and then we can fly them out to New York. You know what I mean? Yeah, this was an amazing season, and I was telling Peacock on TikTok that thank you so much for an incredibly entertaining season. It was quite clear as well. Peacock threw so much money at this. Once they saw the viewership went up, once they saw celebrities are into the season, once they saw we are talking about it ad nauseum, we can't breathe or eat without the show, they threw the book at it. You know what I mean? They flew a therapist for Huda. They were playing Do It All, Everything. They were playing Grey's Anatomy songs. They were playing some of the most romantic, emotional songs that you could ever play in TV. That honestly, yes, it wasn't really like Love Island, like where's the love, we can't see the girl, but it was the most entertaining. And I definitely want to see how they're going to do next season. But it's kind of like a theme for all these dating shows, which is they would rather make it super entertaining than to make it about love, which is the whole premise of the damn show. It's either you make it about love or you make it entertaining. You can't have both. Same thing with Love is Blind. They would rather have an entertaining Love is Blind season than to have than to have a season that's about couples who are in love. Same thing with Love Island. They'd rather have an entertaining season 7 where people are talking about it ad nauseum. You have celebrities complimenting. You have NFL teams giving their takes, than having a show about the normal, boring Love Island, which is good and bad. Good because you increase viewership, you increase money. They have ads now. Like there was a coffee ad on a Coffee Mate. Pepsi was an ad. There was CeraVe was an ad on here. But the bad thing is, because it's not about Love Island, a lot of the people who came to watch season 7 in 2025 may not come back for season 8 in 2026, right? Especially about those older audiences that you've cultivated may not come back for season 8 in 2026 because love is not prioritized. And I knew it wasn't prioritized because their producers were allowing the couples in the villa, the islanders, to vote off people who actually had a connection. The producers allowed the islanders to think whatever they wanted, which is do whatever you want, like vote off the people who have connection, vote off people who are in love. They basically told them, you can define Love Island. So I'm interested to see how next season goes. Can't wait for the reunion. I honestly can't wait for all the interviews for all of these. I can't wait for somebody to interview Huda to ask them the hard-hitting questions. I can't wait for somebody to interview Chris. I can't wait for somebody to interview Nikki Poo. I can't wait for somebody to interview Amaya. I can't wait. I'm had the time of my life. And it makes me wonder, I feel like I want to sign up for these shows, either be a producer or be a contestant myself, because it looks like so much fun. I don't know, watching is so much fun. I can only imagine being in it, but I can't wait to hear everybody's takes on it. But yeah, that's my thoughts and everything. I'm so happy that Amaya won. I'm so happy it was Amaya and Brian that won, and I think everybody was genuine. I think Chris really liked Huda even till the end. I think Iris and Pepe both liked each other. I think they both had no choice but to stay because I don't think they allowed them to leave. I do think Brian does like Amaya, but maybe not as much as Amaya does. And I do think Huda needs help. I do think there was a time that Nikki really did like Olandria, but not so much. And I think Olandria really likes Nikki now, so I don't know. We'll see. It was a great season. I had a blast. Hopefully you guys watched it. I am going to be reviewing The Summer I Turned Pretty. It is airing on Wednesday, so that's something to look forward to. I'm so excited for that. The Summer I Turned Pretty. We're having really good TV this summer. And as a person who hasn't been traveling, I can't wait to see how that goes. To have, see how that season goes, because I'm gripping onto these TV shows for life. As my source of entertainment throughout the week. My life is quite boring. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful week, and hope you guys liked this season. Let me know your thoughts on all the couples, on the things that I've said, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Love ya. Bye.